So, I digress. Let's pop off, let's blast off, and let's get into it. And then first, let's get into it, and then let's get out of it. Okay, it's going to be Saturday. We're going to talk about the conspiracy theories. We're talking about Sean Ryan's pod leaks, Cybertruck explosive manifesto, Adrian Dittman is not Elon, NOLA attacker, radicalization journey, and media coverage over it. Another Hassan W take different viewpoint stuff. Video currently unavailable. Chatter, you sent me this video, but it's currently unavailable. It's for you. Please react to this channel for fun react. All praxis, no theory. No. What is the name of the bottle? Coffee. Ooh, I don't drink it as much right now. Mr. Beast got money from DOD. Predictions for 2025 and more. It's Saturday. Fun reacts time. Get in now. 3 days since Rivals on stream. Gaming is dead again. 2025 is over. Yeah, it's done. Yeah, I had to take out gaming out back and put one in the back of gaming's head. It's over now. Sorry. Okay. Do we have a blast off meme? Hey, Hassan, I was curious, how difficult is Turkish or Kazakh speakers? Would you say 3 months of learning would be enough to be fluent in Turkish for Kazakhs? What advice do you have? Thanks. My Kazakh girlfriend wants to learn Turkish. I don't know. I assume the Kazakh language is like Turkic, but I don't know what it sounds like, and I don't know if, you know, I don't know if that would be like, I have no idea. Okay, we got it. I already used the Adrian Dittman Disco Elysium meme chat. You got it. You got me on that one. All right, let's do it. Did you ever beat Wukong? Yes, I did. Anyway, can you play Rivals XQC? I'd enjoy watching. He said he tried to play with you the other day. I don't recall that happening. I think, all right, let's blow it up. Let's blast off. Flocky, thank you for the resubscription for 58 months. That's crazy. Looking forward to any winter anime. I don't really follow the anime stuff closely, so I don't know.
What you want to do, go to gym? I don't know if I can go to the gym.
Wait, what did he say? Dude, I'm saying it right now. 2025, I'm traveling more. I will go because I know Queso doesn't fly. If we were going to do an IRL collab, I would fly out to him. Okay, I will go to Arkansas. And I will do a day in the life with Queso. Okay, I'll live the way he lives. I'll study the ways. Okay,
Hassan wants to collab in 2025. What you want to do, go to gym? I don't know if I can go to the gym with Hassan, bro. He likes Mountain Dew. I don't know if I can hang out.
Oh my God. I would also, I mean, I would game with Queso is what I was saying, but I'm down to go to Arkansas too. I'll do both. You can watch
that's a big issue here. I can't believe bro likes Mountain Dew. I still can't believe it.
I think we need to do a soda tier list. I think that's another thing that we can collab on. You know what I mean? I also think I could out eat him. Like, that's not even a joke. I mean, I've been purposely trying to shrink my stomach to the best of my ability, but I think I could out eat. I don't know. Is that crazy? Dude, especially if I get some PEDs, okay? You guys saw the way I am an eater. You saw the way I operated during the drive-through challenge. I think y'all forgot. You forgot how much I can consume. ADHD comes in clutch for overeating, man. Going to Arkansas and challenging someone to an eating contest is crazy. Go during state fair time. Okay, let's not become Delulu at the beginning of the year, please. Yo, people forget. Dude, I downed, that Disney turkey leg. When we went to Disneyland and I just downed that turkey leg, that was me holding myself back too. Like, that was me holding myself back. I called the Blick Hassan way you eat. What? Bro can eat. Y'all don't watch Fear and. Yeah, the thing is, I think a lot of people forget that I am constantly trying to be at a deficit And it's one of the most like, is one of the saddest things of all time, because I'm a man who would love to eat. Okay. Who, if given the opportunity, I can, and I do love it, and I will continue eating. Do the didn't I fuck with Will and Nandre? Oh yeah, that's a great one.
Believe it. Matter of fact, I can't believe anybody in here drinks Mountain Dew. You know what disgusts me? You know what disgusts me, and I just don't say it?
The fact that good sodas exist and that you choose not to drink them. This is his most like not real big boy take. I think like Mountain Dew is so peak. Like I genuinely don't understand how. I genuinely don't understand how Keizo could be a dude who looks like he would be consuming the finest of delicacies. I'm a Yard listener. Why would I listen to Fear and better product? It's like Keizo saying, why would I drink Mountain Dew? Am I a Baja Blast man? Yes. I drink soda for the burn because I'm not 21 yet, so any soda is good for me. For the burn? Mountain Dew is nectar of the gods.
The fact that there's somebody, at least one person in here right now, that's drinking Mountain Dew. I hate that thought.
I just don't understand why he hates it so much. It's the best. Have you seen the Baja Blast Premier Protein combo? Are you talking about the new Taco Bell chicken nugs? Because I've heard that it's got like, it's kind of slammed with protein. It's like 300 calories or something for like 75 grams of protein. It's pretty good macros overall. I've yet to try it, but I've heard they're not that bad. They're like surprisingly not that bad. You should order it. Maybe. As a German, I'm interested in how you feel about sparkling water. I hate sparkling water. You guys want to know something crazy? Here, I'll put it out there. Some people absolutely are obsessed with sparkling water. I hate it. For me, it has to have something sweet. That's why I don't even like LaCroix. I don't even like LaCroix. I don't understand it. It's like, why would I drink bitter water that hurts my throat? That does not make any sense to me at all. I don't get it. LaCroix is like in between, sparkling water and like an actual delicious soda bev, right? And it's just like, I'm good. I'm good with drinking Sprite out of a condom, I'm good with that. I'm good. I'm not doing that. And I'm also not just going straight. Who drinks diet or full strength soda beverages for the sparkling nature of it? Like, it doesn't make sense to me at all. And my parents love it too. Okay. My parents love seltzers. They are big time seltzer fans. I think it's because like it maybe makes their tummy feel better after like a big meal or whatever. I don't fully understand it. But someone says it's like drinking TV static. Yeah, it is. It is. It doesn't make any sense to me. Congrats, you just lost the PNW constituency. This is one of your peak L takes, in my opinion. LaCroix sucks, but give me a plain sparkling by the bottle. I just don't understand it. I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. Look, have fun. When I go to a restaurant, especially like fancy restaurants where they go like, oh, would you want still or sparkling? Like, I treat that as a hostile moment. Like, I treat that as inherent hostility. When someone asks me if I would like sparkling water, I'm like, what do I look like to you? Okay. A fancy highfalutin man? Do I look like a big city lawyer to you from where I'm standing? Do I look French? Is that what it is? Is there something French about the way I look? No, I don't want sparkling water. I never want sparkling water. Give me a goddamn soda. Okay? I will have a regular still water, please, and also some diet sodas on the side. And I can't even drink Coke anymore because it's on the BDS boycott list. So now I don't even drink soda that much when I'm out. And it sucks because I'd rather die than drink Diet Pepsi. Anyway, that's my take, okay? It is decadence. Yeah, I feel like it's for the Euro cucks. It's like diet. It's just drinking like mineral water or drinking Perrier. I feel like that right there is just like you have to have like some kind of socialized healthcare. You can't, like, if you're an American, drink regular soda, man. What the hell is wrong with you? What the hell is wrong with you? Who the hell do you think you are? Drinking sparkling water? Do you feel like you want to feel like you live in a country where there's at least some semblance of good governance? Is that what it is? Does it for a brief moment, you close your eyes, does it for a brief moment feel like you're in a normal country for a second? Is that what it is? Is that why you want to drink soda? Is that why you want to drink the mineral water? It makes no sense. Anyway, what if you're diabetic? Drink diet. What do you mean? You're talking to Mr. Diet. I grew up in a diabetic household, so all I drank was diet sodas. Hassan not cussing is so odd to me. It's not that. I mean, I'm still doing it. Canada Dry is goated, is it not? Yes, Canada Dry is great. Wait, what do you mean? Isn't that ginger ale though? I love ginger ale. I'm African. We drink sparkling water as well. I don't care. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what your background is. If you like mineral water, sparkling water, I just don't understand it. Who the hell looks at water and goes, you know what this needs? A little zest, a little pop. Not sugar, not sweetener, not some delicious yellow 5 chemicals that make mice transparent. Okay, but just a little bit of throat pleasures. That's what I want. It doesn't make any sense. It just tastes like bitter water. It tastes like bitter water. I don't understand it. Why are you drinking bitter water? There is something inherently un-American about sparkling water. I will say it. I will say it. If you drink sparkling water, you think you're better than everybody else. If you drink sparkling water, you think you live in Europe. Okay? Oh, I'm going to go visit the Alps like on a holiday. No, you're not, Deborah. Okay? You're an accountant. You don't get holiday. You live in America. There is no concept of holiday. Oh, I'll have the Topo Chico, please. No, you won't. I used to think it was expired water as a kid. That's funny. Anyway, you look at sparkling water and think, a little bit of carcinogenic chemical will make this drinkable. Yes. You know why? Because I'm a real American, goddammit. What are you? Yes, exactly. I look at sparkling water and I say, I need chemicals that are going to make me have different kinds of ass cancer. That's what I say. You know why? Because I love this country. And it seems like you don't. And if you don't love it, you can leave. This is going to lose you more people than Ethan lost over Gaza. Okay. Yeah. All right. All jokes aside, what happened to let people enjoy things? I like bitter water because I'm a bitter person. That's what I'm talking about. At least that person recognizes it. Okay? You're bitter and maybe a little un-American. Okay? Maybe a little, just a little bit, but not in like a cool way, in a bad way. Okay? You have insane taste buds. I used to have an A-push teacher who had a whole mini fridge full of Topo Chico and Coke Zero. He was such a millennial. You pack water on a beer can and give it the dumbest name. Yeah, liquid death. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, it is stupid.
Here are 5 often overlooked signs of autism.
What?
Number 1 is hyperfocus. When you enjoy something, you dive into it all the way and you don't want to do anything else. Number 2 was sensory avoidant. We can become easily overstimulated by sound.
I've become the Keizo of autism, by the way. You know how like every time there's something like fat related happening, Keizo's audience will point to it. That's me with autism now. I've realized. I should have never taken that dang quiz, dude.
Sounds, smells, textures, etc. But number 3 was sensory seeking. We can feel easily bored and agitated that nothing is going on and find ourselves seeking more stimulation. Number 4 was social challenges that aren't obvious. We can have close friends and make eye contact easily, but other than our 1 or 2 friends, we're isolated from the rest of our peers and we don't feel connected to those around us like non-autistic people do. And number 5, presenting as flexible when having difficulty with change. This could be done through mirroring behavior, but we can also present as highly adaptable. while internally feeling extreme distress over sudden changes.
I don't like this video. It's calling me out. Damn it. Okay, let's move on from this. Okay, talk about making eye contact like it's a flex, Lamau. For the new fans, where can we take the fan base quiz? What is the fan base quiz? Throw a curse in there. You know you want to. I'm not. You're negatively influenced me as a non-American, and I always crave soda now. Let's go. Finally, dude. American cultural export is still, our greatest cultural export is still very much alive and well. Soda, black culture and soda consumption. That's it. That's America right there. Also brain rot. There's a lot of right-wing brain rot that we also farm out as well to ruin the rest of the globe, as if it wasn't enough that we were destroying the world with American imperialism. We've decided to also destroy the minds. Anyway, burger. Speaking of burger, Matthew Life is Burger. That's the name of the Special Forces Tier 1 operator that was stationed in Germany, operating on drones, as a matter of fact, who took some time out, was on leave in Colorado. Matthew Life is Burger decided to go on the Turo application and rent a Cybertruck, which, according to some sources, in text message conversations that were revealed to his ex-girlfriend at the time, made him feel like Batman or Halo. Matthew Life is Burger. Matthew Live Love Burger was a man who had spent 15 years in the military. 15 years as a Special Forces Tier 1 operator, a doorbuster, the type of guy who goes on the Sean Ryan podcast. Now, of course, he unfortunately couldn't make it to the Sean Ryan podcast when he was alive. Matthew Live Love Burger killed himself outside of Trump Tower in Vegas, inside of a fiery inferno of gas canisters and explosive ordnance such as fireworks in his Cybertruck. A lot of people were confused this had happened just in the first day of the new year. People thought, what is going on? America is out of control. This is happening right alongside the New Orleans attack that had taken place with another American military veteran with an ISIS flag strapped to the back of his truck. So people thought, are these connected? Well, it turns out Matthew Life is Burger seemingly was on some different stuff. Okay. Now, we have found out more about the background and the motive of this suspect. And thankfully, we found out about it because Matthew had sent an email to this bald man, Sam Shoemate, talking about why he was about to do some crazy stuff. Okay? Luckily, Sam Shoemate tactically ascertained this email, even though he initially had made fun of it. We watched certain parts of this broadcast that is now sitting at 2.58 million views in one day on Sean Ryan's podcast. Sean Ryan, for those of you who don't know, because you're probably not a Tom Clancy reading, military grunt, enjoying, former vet, who likes to drink Black Rifle coffee and has had a string of bad relationships and probably are a divorced dad. If you're not one of those things, you probably don't know who Sean Ryan is. Sean Ryan is the place for guys like that. Sean Ryan is the place for Matthew Life is Burger and many others, right? Not former vet, sorry, veteran. So yeah, Sean Ryan is the place, the number one place for kinetic podcasting. Okay. Tactical ascertainment and kinetic podcasting, where veterans, former government stooges, and current government stooges alike end up getting the full 2-hour broadcast, starting off with the gift giving. Sean will give you a gift of a phone that he is sponsored by, a phone company that he's sponsored by. And then, they get to it. They do some tactical boot licking. Exactly. Tactical booty licking and also tactical boot licking. So there's a video by Ryan Macbeth about why the email manifesto about the Cybertruck terrorists is probably fake news. It's almost only 5 minutes or so. Yeah. Matthew Life is Burger lived a long life, but it seems in the last hour of his life, he sent this email to Sam Shoemate. We covered it yesterday. I'm going to go back into it, but I want to start off by looking at the email real quick. This is the way that Sean Ryan talked about his podcast that came out. I urge everyone to dedicate at least 45 minutes to fully grasp the details that have unfolded over the past few days. This episode takes a deep dive into the manifesto, an email sent to Samusor by Matt Livesberger himself. Within this chilling document, Livesberger boldly declares, what I'm going to send you is going to change the course of humanity. Matthew Livesberger, former Green Beret, is at the center of the story. Just days before he drove a Tesla Cybertruck loaded with explosives to the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas, this Cybertruck incident has raised serious questions about Livesberger's motivations, his credibility, and the information he shared. In this episode, we unpack the manifesto's contents, which include allegations of advanced drone technology, U.S. war crimes in Afghanistan, and the use of gravity propulsion systems by China, anti-grav machines, drones in New Jersey, the Chinese weather balloon that drifted off course and made Americans panic for approximately a week. All of that and more was featured in Matthew Livesberger's email that he had sent to this other guy, Mr. Shoe, Sam Shoemate. Sam Shoemate initially looked at Matthew Livesberger's email, which I will read you right now, and kind of joked about it because it sounds, frankly, a little insane. But for Sam, Matthew Livesberger blowing himself up outside of Trump Tower, inside of the Cybertruck, was enough to go, okay, this insane thing that this insane guy sent me, after he did the extra insane thing of blowing himself up, now I believe it. Why? Because content and clout. So let's take a look at the email really quickly, and then we'll move back to the conversation that they were having. Now, Matthew Livesberger did something in this email that I call the sandwich technique, okay? The bread that you use, the burger technique, if you want to call it that, is truth, insane stuff in between, and then more truth, potentially likely truth. Okay? In case I do not make it my decision point or onto the Mexico border, I am sending this now. Please do not release this until 1st Jan and keep my identity private until then. First off, I am not under duress or hostile influence or control. My first car was a 2008 Black Mustang V6 for verification. What we have been seeing this part is like the truthful part, right? What we have been seeing with drones is the operational use of gravitic propulsion systems, powered aircraft by most recently China in the East Coast. But throughout the history, the U.S., only we and China have this capability. Our OPCEN, Operation Center, location for this activity is in the box below. China has been launching them from the Atlantic from submarines for years, but this activity recently has picked up. As of now, it is just a show of force, and they are using it similar to how they use the balloon for SIGINT and ISR, which are also part of the integrated comm system. There are dozens of these balloons in the air at any given time. What is because of the speed and stealth of these unmanned aircraft, they are the most dangerous threat to national security that has ever existed. They basically have an unlimited payload capacity and can park it over the White House if they wanted. It's checkmate. USG needs to give the history of this, how we are employing it, and how we are weaponizing it, how China is employing them, and what the way forward is. China is poised to attack anywhere on the East Coast. I've been followed for a week now from likely Homeland or FBI, and they are looking to move on me and are unlikely going to let me cross into Mexico. But I won't, because they know I am armed and have a massive VBIED, which is code word for vehicle-borne improvised explosive device. I have been trying to maintain tactically a very visible profile and have kept my phone, and they are definitely digitally tracking me. Okay, this is like signs of paranoid schizophrenia, in my opinion. Okay, I have knowledge of this program and also war crimes that were covered up during airstrikes in the Nimruz province in Afghanistan in 2009. So we're back to like the truth now. Okay, likely the truth. By the admin, DOD, DEA, and CIA, I conducted targeting for these strikes of over 125 buildings. 65 were struck because of CivCast that killed hundreds of civilians in a single day. U.S. FORA continued strikes after spotting civilians on the initial ISR. It was supposed to take 6 minutes and scramble all aircraft and CENTCOM. The UN basically called these war crimes, but the administration made them disappear. I was part of that cover-up with U.S. FORA and Agent Bleep of the DE, so I don't know if my abduction attempt is related to either. I worked on General Miller's IO staff, as well as the response to Bala Murghab, AOBS commander at the time. Bleep can validate this. You need to elevate this media Elevate this to the media so we avoid a world war because it's a mutually assured destruction situation. For vetting, my LinkedIn is Matt Berg or Matthew Liefesberger, an active duty 18 Zulu out of 110. My profile is public. I have an active TSSCI with UAP and USAP access. Do not message me. I will send out updates via both Signal and email, but trust me, you're gonna want to be involved. 18 Zulu, signing out. So, my initial assessment on the guy, and also Sean Ryan in general, is that I don't think you're gonna ever find some real damning truths about whatever is happening within the American government by the likes of Sean Ryan or on his show. Ironically enough, Sean Ryan also has claimed that he might be under threat for revealing this information. Okay, where was it? He tweeted out. He tweeted out something along the lines of with the weight of the baggage America is carrying within its borders, I can't help but wonder when the baggage becomes too full, will America be able to recover, or have we already reached that point? He basically tweeted out something like, I'm under threat. Hey man, this is an activity duty special forces TM sergeant out of 10th. I want to blow the whistle on our activities in a certain place. I'm willing to sit down with you on the 31st in Flagstaff or do it remotely via phone. Must be done before the 31st as I'll be leaving. You know what's really funny? Okay. Sean Ryan probably gets at least 1,000 emails like this a day, which is precisely the reason why when he saw this email, he did not respond to it. I'm rather shocked at the lack of loyalty and military conditioning of American service men and women. Where is their sense of loyalty and discipline? Yes, the U.S. has a mental health pandemic. The U.S. military seems to have very serious loyalty and discipline problem. Too many of them have gone rogue. What are you talking about? What? It didn't go to Sean Ryan, did it? It went to his guest? No, he of course sent one to Sean Ryan directly as well, for the record. Of course, what's funny to me, at least, is that you have one former government guy, former Navy SEAL CIA contractor, getting upset at another current government guy, Jack Posobiec, also former Navy intelligence. Okay? Jack Posobiec immediately runs into the story headfirst and says, spoke with an Army friend who served with Matthew Liefesberger in Afghanistan. Says the email story about the war crimes in 2019 is totally made up, that they didn't even have strike authority like he's talking about. Now, it's interesting because I think that this is like varying degrees of PSYOP, where you have Jack and wokeness Posobiec, who is a Navy intelligence guy, participating in, the more basic types of PSYOP divide and conquer initiatives. And then you have the Sean Ryan guy who has to maintain his veneer as an anti-government guy. But then sometimes, almost always, ends up landing on the side of whatever initiatives the government wants you to pay attention to. The PSYOPs aren't in communication. Anyway, so Flagstaff guy is not legit. He didn't give, make, model his Ford truck like the Tesla guy. What? I'm a psychiatrist, and this is very clearly schizophrenia or psychosis more broadly. Unfortunately, many such cases after the kind of trauma you experience in the Army. Yeah, that's what I think as well. I see nothing wrong with the dude's email. Unlimited payload and anti-grav technology. You see nothing wrong with a guy. Look, submarines do have the capability of launching drones. That is 100% correct. Okay? Just so you understand. Unlimited payload capabilities are, as far as I understand, impossible. Okay? The fact that he also paired up the Chinese weather balloon as a massive point of Chinese military might that they're flexing over the American, the oblivious American population, I think shows how maybe there's a limit to the veracity of the statements. Okay? There is no such thing as unlimited payloads. What are you talking about? Unlimited payload capabilities, if existed, would dramatically change international commerce. You understand that, right? Like, it would change the world. Unlimited payload capability means that you can, first of all, it's theoretically impossible, okay? But also would imply that there is no, like, you can put 700 tons payload, okay, on a drone maybe the size of a minivan. Like, that's not a thing. Don't get excited, but we know very little about our existence or the world around us. Oh my God, it's always alien guys in the chat that go, yeah, it's alien technology. Yeah. Anti-grav technology and unlimited payload would be life-altering information, okay? Life-altering technological developments that undermine things that you know about gravity, okay? Things that we understand. It would literally change the world. Anyway, it would change everything we understand about the world and just like scientific discovery in general. I mean, anyway, let's just keep going. Look, maybe he was exaggerating on the unlimited payload. I still think it's, I still don't agree that it's like likely Chinese drones off the East Coast. One of the statements I made about this last night was, while I love entertaining conspiracy theories like this, I said, call me crazy, but I don't think the Chinese government has unlimited payload capability anti-grav tech drones that launch from subs near New Jersey to monitor Wawas. And maybe the real psyop is making you think that this could possibly be why the Green Beret killed himself in the Cybertruck. But having said that, let's get back to connecting the dots as I tactically ascertain the veracity of the information that's being delivered to us.
Downstairs, you know, I jokingly said this to my wife the day that I got that email, because I read the email to her. You all have heard the email.
Why doesn't blowing himself up increase the legitimacy of anything he said before? He said something crazy and then did something crazy, so he's probably just crazy. That's what I think as well. However, for the gumshoes over here at the Sean Ryan podcast, the fact that another, active duty service member, most likely exhibiting a mental health crisis, killing themselves in this spectacular fashion, all of a sudden lends more credence to the arguments that he was, lends more credence to the information he was delivering.
Now you realize without context of who this person is, how just crazy it sounds. And I told her, I said, well, I mean, I guess if the dude ends up getting rolled up by the feds or he gets killed, we got a story, huh? And famous last words, right?
Yeah.
That's so I looked at, and I want to give context on one of the things. I saw this going around on social media. People were saying that his Signal chat, his safety number changed. I don't know if you saw this on X, but it was all over X. Apparently his safety number on Signal changed. He messaged me on Signal. So I went on there to look myself to see if it changed. And sure enough, it had. On January 1st, after the bombing, after he was dead, his safety number.
Red flag. Red flag. Calls it X. Red flag. My 2025 red flags are, and this is this is like a holdover or carryover from 2014 as well, which is when someone calls Twitter X, when someone is really invested in AI art and routinely uses AI art. Those are like two, for me, those are, did I say 2014? Why do I keep doing that? That's like the third time I've done that. I don't know. 2024.
That's all he sent me. He said initial contact, and I gave a thumbs up, and his safety number changed at the bottom.
Look at that.
That's after he's dead.
Oh, Bitcoin too. Yeah, cryptocurrency. Being really into cryptocurrency.
I don't know enough
flag.
about Signal to know why that would happen. Somebody has to have manipulated that, though, and messed with it. Somebody had to have been in his account after the fact and done something for that to have changed.
What did the FBI say when you contacted him?
Not a lot. I gave him the story on what went down. Was very over the top, telling them, hey, I am being transparent in every way. Feel free to contact me at any time. This is my address, my name. This is why he contacted me. This is my social media page. This is any reason why this could have happened, why this got dumped on me. This is the information. They took it. They were gracious. They were nice to talk to. Mind you, I had to explain what a VBID was, which was disheartening because you're the FBI, but that's another issue altogether. But nothing beyond that. They said, thank you, and we'll be in touch if we have any further questions.
Well, they definitely got in touch with CID.
Yeah, they did.
Because that went all the way to the top of the Army. And, I'm going to dig in a little bit more on this report from 2019. However, according to international humanitarian law, including international customary law, facilities that control...
Why would he tell the FBI that? Because these guys think that they're still operators working within the FBI or working within the intelligence community or are still capable of being contracted help. They operate like they are being contracted help. I want to call each of these conspiracy theorists dodo. No, I mean, like, they're LARPing. They're LARPing. That's what it is.
Contribute economically or financially to the war effort or of a party to a conflict are considered civilian objectives. The report jointly produced by UNA and the UN Human Rights Office concludes that the drug facilities associated with workers may not be lawfully made the target of attack and should be protected. The United Nations maintains that considering these objectives and individuals legitimate targets dangerously erode the fundamental principle of distinction, placing the broader civilian population.
I went back and reread it. When he's talking about basically unlimited payload, he's not talking about weight or any one drone. He's talking about payload as an ordinance and unlimited by the cumulative effect of all the drones working together. First of all, payload doesn't simply just mean ordnance. Payload means payload, okay? Payload means it can be surveillance technology. It's whatever the drone is carrying, okay? And it doesn't matter. Ordnance or not, it's impossible for it to be unlimited unless there is some kind of alien-style space technology out there, anti-gravity technology. To be fair, if you wanted to discredit something, this is exactly how you do it, by leaking it through these bozos. I mean, that's one aspect of it. I think another aspect of it is that Sean Ryan is a comfortable territory to deliver whatever kind of information you want to deliver. If you want people to be like really worried, you know, if you want people to hyper focus on a certain story and get really invested in a certain story. I'm a 09 Modern Warfare 2 vet. I think you're wrong. I've done so many tours in Modern Warfare 2 lobbies, sir.
And infrastructure at risk. The report sets out a number of recommendations, including that the appropriate and legal response to illicit drug activity.
Everyone doubted me yet again. I remain the #1 Elon hater. Sorry, Megaphonics Music. Expect a full retraction from Hassan. Wait, I agreed with you, Evan. I kept using you as the #1 Elon chronicler to further solidify my argument. We're gonna get to Adrian Dittman in a second. I even did it yesterday. Yeah, Adrian Dittman is not Elon. Why do you think he's talking about you? Oh, because because he probably misunderstood when I was using. All right, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Just let's do it.
Is through law enforcement, not military operations that endanger civilians.
Well, and here's the thing. We want to know why the DOD is scrambling on this, why the FBI pushed this to them so quickly, to CID all the way up to the very top. These are very, very serious allegations.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like UN level opening an investigation type stuff into alleged war crimes. This is no joke.
It did happen.
Yeah, the Ripple.
Okay, I disagree with that vehemently. The United Nations opening up an investigation to American war crimes is basically a joke. Hello? Have you not been around for the last year where it's not even the United Nations that is already constantly humiliated by America in general and the Security Council that the American government basically weaponizes its influence over to ensure that nothing happens to our extension in the Middle East, Israel. The American government has also openly talked about like invading the Netherlands, invading The Hague. So no, I don't think that the UN, calling into question war crimes committed by the United States of America is that serious. It's just not. It just straight up is not. It is crazy.
Effect is going to be massive on this.
It did happen. I think we should take a quick break. I want to scrape our email to see if this Green Beret, what's his name again?
Matt Livelsberg.
Matt Livelsberg. Let's see.
Burger. Okay.
Let's see if Matthew Livelsberger sent us an email through our website email desk. We'll be right back.
Vigilance Elite Productions.
I know everybody out there has to be just as frustrated as I am when it comes to the BS and the rhetoric that the mainstream media continuously tries to force feed us.
Yeah.
And I also know how frustrating it can be to try to find some type.
That's right. That's why I love getting my non-mainstream media narratives from former CIA contractor, Navy SEAL Sean Ryan, who famously will go on the Joe Rogan Experience to say things like, you know, the Taliban is just printing out passports to come into the United States of America through the southern border of Mexico. And any moment now, there's going to be multiple 9/11s. It's far too late. Now, that's the type of cutting edge anti-government rhetoric, anti-mainstream media rhetoric you can get from Sean Ryan, which seemingly always is aligned with the American State Department. I don't know how, I don't know where, I don't know why. It just always seems to lean in that direction. The exposés of the war crimes or the crazy stuff that's happening behind the scenes in the American government is virtually never actually subversive. It's never really antagonistic. It just always happens to be like, oh, there were some war crimes. That's really serious stuff. You know, America takes its war crimes seriously. It's probably might be a whistleblower type situation. I'm going to call Ryan right now, little bro. This is slander. Look, all I'm saying is I've had more real whistleblowers and more real enemies of the American state on this Twitch stream than he has on his podcast. Okay? His interviewees are the likes of Pete Hegseth, who is about to be the Department of Defense Secretary. Okay? He's about to be the Secretary of Defense. It doesn't get more not against the mainstream than that.
Type of a reliable news source. It's getting really hard to find the truth and what's going on in the country and in the world. And so one thing we've done here at Sean Ryan Show is we are developing our newsletter. And the first contributor to the newsletter that we have is a woman, former CIA targeter. Some of you may know her as Sarah Adams, call sign Superbad. She's made 2 different appearances here on the Sean Ryan Show. And some of the stuff that she has uncovered and broke on this show is just absolute.
WikiLeaks did this years ago. Still nothing. What is he on about? No, that's what I'm saying. It's like the real disruptors, okay? The real disruptors, the real like whistleblowers, okay? They don't get to go on the Sean Ryan podcast. They don't get to have a Sean Ryan podcast. They're in exile or killed or suffer severe penalties like Chelsea Manning did. Okay? That's it. They go to prison. Like they either go to prison for a very long time, or they get killed, or they are in a non-extradition embassy, like a non-extradition country's embassy, locked away as the American government, including the likes of Hillary Clinton, like openly talk about assassinating these people, like Julian Assange, and only are allowed to leave once they've been thoroughly punished, once they've learned their lesson, you know?
Mind-blowing. And so I've asked her if she would contribute to the newsletter and give us a weekly intelligence brief. This is gonna
Okay, yeah. This is to freak out your grandpa, okay? That's what this is. This is to freak out your grandparents or your dad, to be like, yeah, there's a real threat anywhere. This is why we must defend the DOD. We must give more money to the American military, sir. I'm also subversive. I'm anti-government, okay? I'm an anti-government kind of guy, but also we have to keep giving the military more money.
Is raw and uncut. This is as close to the set as you can possibly get. You can expect anything from the
What is happening?
Is what we got. He actually did email us. This came in on December 29th, 2024 at 10:17 p.m. Emailed through the support desk on Sean Ryan Show.
This is for people who think Tom Clancy novels are real life. This is the podcast version of a Tom Clancy novel. If you don't want to read, and if you don't want to buy an audiobook, you watch the Sean Ryan podcast and you fantasize about it being real. Okay. And it bricks your brain further.
.com. And by the way, all these emails will be posted on my ex account, Sean Ryan 762, and your ex account.
Same as her.
I gotta
All right,
pee.
here's the message traffic. Hey man, this is an active duty SFTM sergeant out of 10th. I want to blow the whistle on our activities in a certain place. I'm willing to sit down with you on the 31st in Flagstaff, or do it remotely via phone. Must be done before the 31st, as I'll be leaving. So we'll be sending this to the FBI as well. Love your contact. I'm also gonna hit some people I know over there, but I just, these people don't always talk, so I think it'd be good to keep some continuity here. But So we did receive an email. What was this guy's? You deleted the message.
The
Don't know.
burner account on there, I did. He told me to delete it, and I did. It's a common practice. People get spooked and they want to delete it, so I do it for them.
Yeah, I was going to throw that up there, but there are tens of thousands of messages in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very obvious why he did this, I think. He wanted to bring attention to the incident in 2019 that got covered up. Do you have any insight, any theories on this?
So we had a running theory downstairs. I've seen all of the conspiracies. I've seen all the questions about, all right, this guy is what, 20-year special forces. He just got done with team sergeant time. He's a very qualified and very capable Green Beret. Everybody I've spoken to who knew the guy prior, yesterday I spoke to several people, to include his old team leader, who's now lieutenant colonel, said he was fine, nothing out of place. His mental state was not something that anybody was concerned about. His ex-girlfriend posted photos of him bragging about how he got a Tesla and all this other stuff. So stick with me here. Very capable guy, but he loads the Tesla up. A Tesla, which Elon Musk brags about being bulletproof, right? So this is one of his selling points. It's bulletproof. We even saw Joe Rogan shoot an arrow at it and wasn't able to puncture this thing. So he loads up a Tesla knowing that it's going to, not explode like he wants it to with fireworks and a bunch of other junk, when he can make a car bomb that's going to level this place. Here's what I think. So the PAO, the Army PAO, is saying that the body inside the cab did not match the DNA of his child. All right. We also know that there was they said he was shot by a Desert Eagle.
Yeah, dude, it's not this tier 1 operator losing his mind and snapping and doing something that many veterans unfortunately also do is the not likely scenario here. What the likely scenario here is that he's uncovered the truth about a drone program that the United States of America has, that the Chinese government also has, that is going to shock the world. Echelon, I believe, is the worst surveillance system to ever exist. Like, we don't need that system for surveillance, right, Hassan? I thought it violates the amendments of the rights of privacy, right, Hassan? What? Hasanabi, you're wrong. You're wrong. You don't know tactics, brother. That's true. You cry yourself to sleep knowing you are part of a gender propaganda machine. Free Israel. What? A gender propaganda machine? What does that even mean? An agender propaganda.
We know that there was no signature when it rolled up. So nobody shot themselves when it rolled up to it. You would have seen a large signature. Mr. Guns and Gear, he's on X.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, free Israel from the Israeli government. You're right. You're not wrong. Free Israel from its genocidal tendencies. I agree. Yeah, I'm on board with that. Free Israel from the constructs of heteronormative gender roles.
He goes into this a lot in depth. He's a firearms expert, and he talks about this, and there's no signature. So this is what happens. You get a Tesla because you know it can drive itself up to the hotel, the Trump Tower. You put a body in it, roll it up. It's already burned up, or it's already shot, excuse me. You don't want to kill anybody because that's not the message you're trying to send. You're not trying to...
Wait, what? I mean, there's so many moments of surveillance in places like Las Vegas where it looks like the guy is definitely driving the car. I don't know if people need a welfare check. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know what the full extent of self-driving is at this point. Like, I mean, Waymo is obviously pretty successful at full-blown self-driving capabilities. I just don't know if FSD is as good. It seems like it's not as good. But even then, there's a difference between fully self-driving and someone controlling the Cybertruck, which I think is the argument he's trying to make. The argument he's trying to make is that someone killed him, put him in the Cybertruck, in the driver's seat of the Cybertruck, and then blew up the Cybertruck, drove the Cybertruck through remote control, and then blew it up, basically. But what also doesn't make sense in this regard, what doesn't really make sense in that story... No, he's saying life is Burger. Oh, he's saying Burger is still alive. He faked his own death. Yeah, that's insanely unlikely. That is the most unlikely scenario. You would have to tattoo you would have to straight up tattoo the body of the person that you killed and then self-drove and then got to self-drive the car to the Trump Tower. And I believe they also match your dental records. I'm sure that they matched his dental records as well.
Level the tower or kill a bunch of people. So you load it up with fireworks and a bunch of junk to send a message. And we know that his signal number or his signal safety number changed. That can't be done unless you're inside that signal account. And a lot of people conjecture, was the FBI inside his signal account, whatever else. But what if he accidentally changed his safety number, goofed up there? He rolled a body up in a Tesla specifically because a Tesla can drive itself up to the tower, and did what he did to send a message to expose his stuff. And he's still alive out there somewhere.
Well, the other
Answers
thing
a lot of
is,
questions.
the other thing is maybe the FBI wasn't in his phone. Maybe, I mean, this guy's obviously very.
Yeah, to my knowledge, shreds and tatters of his tattoo remains plus teeth, not fakeable in my not fakeable amount. I am more inclined to believe that the government killed him, or more inclined to believe that it was he had no suicidal ideation whatsoever, and it was actually him trying to have a fun weekend in Vegas with his friends or whatever, and then there was a Cybertruck electrical malfunction that caused all of the explosive ordnance in the background that he was gonna like blow up and stuff in the desert to blow up the car. I'm more inclined to believe those two other options before I believe that this guy, Matthew Liebesberger, the tactical genius, went, killed like a homeless man, tattooed his entire body, swapped out enough of his teeth with his own personal teeth, and then fully self-drove the Cybertruck in a way that like somehow evades Tesla's own internal information, because that will be given to the federal government, and blew up the truck remotely. I'm kind of becoming a fan of this unrestricted delusions focused podcast. Like, can we just make anything up into a podcast? What do you think 90% of podcasts are? 90% of podcasts are this guy with like a government background, guy with like some semblance of authority and legitimacy, talking about things that are completely outside of their realm of comprehension and just making up the most insane conspiracy theories. It's like half of the podcasts are like that. You'll have a guy, that's what the Jordan Peterson method was. A guy with like some level of institutional credibility talking about a number of different things that he does not understand at all with unimaginable confidence. Also, the Fear M Pod. I mean, the Fear M Pod is like obviously a entertainment comedy culture focused podcast. We don't, we don't have any sort of authority over any of the things that we talk about. What are you talking about? As a matter of fact, most of the podcast is about how little we know about things.
Very competent. I mean, he's got a TSSCI clearance for the polygraph. He's been associated with USASOC. Obviously, he was on this operation in 2019. By the way, the general in charge of that was General Miller. You'll see that in the email that we post on X later after this interview comes out. Maybe he changed his number on purpose and switched phones because he obviously was tipped off or conducted his own counter surveillance and caught Homeland or FBI tracking him. And so I think there's a very good possibility that that Matthew Liebesberger might be still alive.
It checks, as far as I can tell, it checks all the blocks.
The Desert Eagle, the Desert Eagle, I mean, yeah, a little over the top firearm. But if you think about it, if he was going to kill himself or whoever was in that car was going to kill himself, look, if I was going to commit suicide with a firearm, I would go with the biggest possible caliber of bullet that I could to make sure that it actually worked, because I wouldn't want to be sitting there choking all over myself with a fucking 9mm or something. True. So that is, as far as I know, a 50 caliber Desert Eagle is the biggest handgun caliber that you can get. And so that could play into this as well. But
there's a lot going on.
Was there something in that email again that said that this would prevent World War III with the UAP?
Well,
drone?
it didn't say it would prevent World War III, but he was asking that, he said you need to elevate this to the media.
It's weird how these people love America and agree with a lot of the government, but will also think that they will kill people for no any reason. Yeah. Bad guys.
So we avoid a world war because this is a mutually assured.
Conspiring about why or how a veteran killed himself as if this isn't a dog bites man scenario. Yeah, that's the crazy part about this, is that like they're pointing to a very common, like, this is unfortunate, it's tragic, but it's so common that there's a number for it, right? The initial number was 22 veterans a day. And now I think the number is lowered down to like 14 or something. But it is so commonplace that there are organizations and initiatives launched directly talking about how many veterans commit suicide a day. And they're like, they're covering it as though this is, like a very unique phenomenon. Now, obviously the way it happened is definitely more spectacular than the average way it normally happens. He wasn't mentally disturbed. He was Oracle Patriot fighting the deep state. Yeah. Anyway, let's continue.
Destruction situation.
I wonder what he's trying to do with what he's trying to tell us with these drones.
I hesitate to even get into this realm because I have no expertise in drones or call it alien technology, UFO technology, whatever's going on here. But here's
How can you have expertise in alien technology, dude? Oh man, let's get into it. But I'm sorry, Sean. I don't want to disrespect the credibility of your podcast, but I have no experience in alien technology. This is outside of my forte. Oh man, drone tech and alien tech is totally outside of my purview.
Here's one thing that I talked about with the guys downstairs earlier. Several weeks ago, I don't know if you saw that video. It was a New Jersey sheriff or chief of police. I can't remember which, but he flew their own drone up, their own department.
Yeah, New Jersey sheriffs. Those are the guys who have a lot of experience with alien technology.
Drone up to try to figure out what was going on. So we had all these drone issues that were being cited off of New Jersey and everything. And what he commented on video was how fast these things were. He said, we have a pretty robust drone, and they flew it up there to try to catch these drones that were there, and they just, bam, they were gone. He said there was no catching them, never seen anything like it. They don't even know, they have no idea what that could have been. And so you have this capability that is, I guess, in line with what we hear about anti-gravity being. And I don't know, it makes you wonder.
Well, you have the stuff with Ryan Graves and is it Dave Favor?
Commander David Fravor.
The Commander David Favor, who, you know, was it the Nimitz?
He was in the Nimitz strike group in 2004.
Yeah, the Nimitz strike group in 2004 that reported those UAPs coming out of the water that had no propulsion system.
I remember that.
But, you know, and it's interesting that nobody seems to know what the drones are, and it just, you know, kind of disappeared out of the media. And, you know, and the other thing is we do have the capability to take these drones out. Well, everybody was trying to figure out what the drone's on. I brought on a very prominent businessman, Joe Lonsdale, who is the co-founder of a company called Epirus. Epirus is they manufacture these directed EMP weapons that can take out 100 drones at a time with a basically sends out a simultaneous different directed EMP weapons. Brought him on. He's also founder of Palantir, big AI platform that the military's been using.
Sure.
That kind of revolution.
Isn't that odd? These supposedly subversive anti-government podcasts that go against the grain of mainstream media consistently have government contractors on to talk about the dangerous fears that you must hire those individual guys to combat against. That's interesting. How subversive. How disruptive. How scary. How scary. What's scary is the existence of Palantir. Okay? What's scary is the reality that there are multi-billionaires out there who are completely broken in the brain that serve the federal government with insane surveillance technology. And you're not afraid of that. You're afraid of alien drone technology, and the only way to defend yourself against that alien drone technology is with Palantir or with, you know, these EMP weapons providers that are going to become government contractors. Like, think. This is what I will never understand about all of these cynics, all of these skeptics, all of these conspiracy theorist people. They're not afraid of Peter Thiel. They're not afraid of Elon Musk. They're afraid of Bill Gates, which you should be. He's also a billionaire, okay? But they're afraid of Bill Gates for what they suspect Bill Gates is doing when Elon Musk is doing it openly. They'll be like, Bill Gates is trying to give microchips to do mind control to me, okay, by way of the vaccine. That's why I hate that guy. But I love Elon. He's one of the good ones. Meanwhile, he's got a company called Neuralink that is literally trying to do that. You like the guy that's trying to do that. You think the guy that's trying to do that is a hero, saving America. But then you suspect Bill Gates of doing that to you. And you hate him for it. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense to me at all. Yo, did skincare last night like a clay mask and everything. My face is smooth like the brain of a lead-poisoned boomer. Anti-gravity tech is real. Only explanation for the flight paths of all those documented UAPs. Hassan isn't familiar with Bob Lazar? I guess not. Oh my God. Anti-grav tech is real. Yeah, it is. You're right. It is real. Aliens have actually made contact. The American government has figured it out. They actually have anti-grav technology. They're just not revealing it to us yet.
Revolutionized warfare.
Big fan.
So we could have taken those drones out in any moment in time. In fact, no, those are deployed. So that could be. So he had two objectives. One, He definitely wanted to bring light to 2019. That obviously affected his code of morals, and in the drones.
Yeah.
And he's obviously very worried about World War III, which I think everybody right now. But why Trump Hotel? Why Las Vegas?
Yeah. Conjecture and speculation at this point. I couldn't.
Someone used a drone blocker on the New Year's Eve show near where I live. All the drones filmed in the sky once. No, of course there are anti-drone technology. That is not the far-fetched idea. No. And there is also mass surveillance capabilities that Palantir has. And they're contracted by the federal government to do such things, to find new ways of doing mass surveillance. The reason why I brought those two things up is because Sean Ryan is having those guys on. Those guys are government contractors. You can't be a subversive anti-government guy and then simultaneously offer non-hostile, positive interviews to the people that are doing the actual evil. If your position as an anti-government guy, a conspiracy guy, is that like the government is doing a whole bunch of stuff that I consider to be evil, and then you have the mass surveillance guy on, and you bring it up as though it's like a good thing, but then you're not an anti-government guy. You know what I mean? What do you mean? What are you talking about?
I tell you, I've heard both sides. I've seen them finding posts from his wife, who's very allegedly. I'm not saying this. I'm just saying what has been put out on social media is very anti-Trump. She has had a number of anti-Trump posts, and then him, who his family, he's a stalwart patriot, Trump supporter, all these other things, which I guess if I had to guess.
Wait, there's no indication that this guy was anti-Trump at all. What are you talking about?
Just in the realm of conjecture again, I would say Trump Tower. It draws more media, more fanfare. Was this an assassination attempt? That kind of stuff. So you get more press, more media pulling into it because it is such a significant namesake, if you will. But at the same time, it was a fireworks display and very little more. And if I'm running with the theory that I proposed a little while ago, he didn't want to hurt anybody. He wanted to send a message.
I mean, it's very obvious. Look, the guy's got great tradecraft. I mean, he changed his signal number, if that was him, or his whatever the contact number on Signal. 20 plus year in special operations at the highest level, picked a car that's bulletproof to do this. I think, there definitely wasn't mass casualties. He wasn't trying to hit mass casualties, because otherwise he would have done it at another location.
I love the idea where you have to maintain the position that like our beautiful special operations veterans are all Jason Bourne. And therefore, if they really wanted to blow something up, I tell you what, they would do a much better job than the ISIS veteran guy. I promise you. Okay, they would. Yeah, I think he just wanted to kill himself. Okay, I think he was. Look, if there's a conspiracy there, and there could be one. Okay, I'm not saying that there isn't. If there's a conspiracy there, I doubt that it is in line with whatever these guys are firmly committed to. Okay. If there's a conspiracy there, it is more likely that the conspiracy revolves around, I don't know, whatever he did in as a part of his like special forces operations, and then he went a little too far and got burned. The most likely scenario here, I think, is that he's a vet who was it? We were talking about this the other day. Like a lot of the special forces guys refuse to get mental health evaluations or refuse to get therapy because they have career ambitions, and getting any sort of mental health evaluation beyond whatever the military is giving you and getting therapy for that kind of thing actually limits your upwards mobility. So most likely, he left a lot of things untreated and, probably bricked his brain a little bit. And then did something that unfortunately a lot of veterans do, right? I think that's like the more likely scenario. And it seems like he believed a whole bunch of crazy stuff that was also happening, that the government was like tracing him and tracking him and stuff like that. I believe your medical expenses, whatever they are, exceed the average person's needs. You have less motion. That, or vets are sick of being bounced around from therapist to therapist and having to relive the same trauma over and over again with no progress. I think you're talking about veterans rather than like active duty service members who are still seeking out like a higher status within the military. This guy was still in the military. He was still working. As an Air Force vet, can confirm the perception that getting help will ruin your career opportunities. Yeah, if you're still in service, you have a lot of baggage, I guess. You have a lot of mental health complications that stunts your growth within the ranks. Is this conspiracy only a thing because of how obsessed with how awesome and amazing the operators are or whatever? That's what it seems like to me. A little bit, yeah.
As well, or the bomb would have been bigger to take the entire building.
I agree.
Out. And so this definitely wasn't, in my opinion, this definitely wasn't incompetence.
Another thing to support this. So you got the email. He desperately wanted to talk to you before December 31st. He knew beyond a shadow of a doubt January 1st was go day. Nobody was pressuring him. At the beginning of this email, we see, first of all, I'm not under duress or hostile influence or control. Okay. So he says that he reached out to you. He was very emphatic that it had to be before December 31st because he was doing this thing on January 1st. For some reason, that was a landmark day to him. Maybe it was just because big day for everybody, January 1st. But he was very emphatic that was the time. And then the thing he was trying to do was, overall, more than anything, was get a message across on the biggest platforms possible. He was trying to talk to Pete Hegseth. Why would you want to talk to the Secretary of Defense? He's trying to blow the whistle on these war crimes. He's trying to say this thing happened, man. Like, I can't live with this anymore. He desperately needed to talk to you, the biggest platform out there. He needed to talk to Fox News. I need to get this message out. That was his overall goal. In everything else, everything I've seen, I have not seen the intended goal was to kill himself or to create a mass casualty event. It is to get this message out. And how can I do that? What is the biggest bang for my buck?
It's an honor being on the FBI watch list with you all. Dog, they literally mentioned that they talked to the FBI directly multiple times throughout the interview. You're not on an FBI watch list. You're on the call list. Okay? You are the FBI. You are the feds. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, you're on a list of the FBI. It's just a list of known collaborators that we can call up anytime we want some information.
How can I get that done? That's what I'm seeing here.
Yeah. It's a damn good point. Wow. Do you think there was any correlation between him and the New Orleans attack?
No.
I don't either.
I looked at all of that. I looked at the posts. I looked at the, people are scrambling for news. Everybody wants to post something. They want to be the guy on social media that posts the groundbreaking thing. And I saw these connections to Fort Bragg, and they deployed together at this time. And great. So did 500,000 of the rest of us. I was at Fort Bragg. Oh man, tie me to Delta Force. I must.
Uh-oh. I was there. Who amongst us hasn't been to Fort Bragg? I mean, he's not wrong. But also at the same time, you're not exactly a clear picture of mental sanity either. So who amongst us
must have been part of Delta Force and some side. No, I had nothing to do with them. It's this nonsense. It's a big organization. The Army is very large. You're picking things out and you're trying to make this a thing. That New Orleans guy was a staff sergeant who got out of the active duty Army in 2015, and he was in the reserves until 2020. People are saying in the last year he was radicalized. I talked to multiple of his peers, to include, I'm going to be very, very careful with this, former leadership. I'm not going to give what echelon they were at. Former leadership of his. There was no indication at all back then that he was radicalized. He didn't say radical. I've seen the posts. I saw several people who were saying, well, we have confirmed posts that he was saying radical Islamic things. I don't believe it, because nobody he worked with confirmed that. They said, no, we had no indication that he was like this. And if you talk to people now, they said in the last year, he was radicalized. He started taking on these more radical teachings of Islam and everything else. And he had this, he fell into financial hardship and all these other things. So you're telling me this guy who was a former 42 Alpha S1 guy, human resources, pushes your paper, and then an IT guy, 25 Bravo, is somehow connected to a Green Beret team sergeant?
Dude, I love the tactical speak in here though. Hey, 25 Bravo. He's a 42 Alpha, then a 25 Bravo. Oh, it's so sick. Oh, Jesus. This guy's an 18 Zulu. He has no connection. He's special forces. He's spec ops.
Sergeant out of 10th? No.
Well, also, they found an ISIS flag in New Orleans,
which
they didn't find any of that here.
I think that might have been just some silliness on his part, trying to take on some kind of Islamic banner of jihad.
Low key, this part is not that off base, I think. Look, the way I see like there's a term for it, okay? They say ISIS affiliated versus like directly ISIS inspired, I think. Well, I don't know what the exact terminology is, but like the thing that the media is reporting now from what the FBI has said thus far is that he might have been ISIS inspired rather than ISIS affiliated. And what ISIS inspired means is that he didn't actually have a direct contact with ISIS or any connection with ISIS, and just kind of decided to take on the moniker. And that could have happened. That has happened in the past. There are people who either get radicalized online in the same vein as a lot of mass shooters are radicalized online through like Telegram channels, like Terrorgram, like the girl that did the mass shooting a couple weeks ago. Like that would be a direct connection versus someone who has no immediate affiliation or any connection whatsoever and just decides to adopt the moniker. And that is like that would be someone just saying like, I'm doing something crazy and I'm doing it for ISIS, even if it's not there is no direct point of radicalization. So basically Temu ISIS versus Pinterest ISIS. I mean, kind of. Someone gets ISIS radicalized online. How the F does the FBI, CIA not have eyes on them in your surveillance state? I mean, I guess like it's very hard to actively track and monitor every single person, but that's probably the most likely thing that happened. I doubt he had any contacts with ISIS recruiting cell or something. ISIS being the most notable group, he could have said any Islamic fundamentalist group. ISIS is just most well known to average Americans. Yeah. But we don't know. I still don't know. Maybe there's more information that's come out that I haven't seen yet, but I don't know if there was like a direct point of contact. But it does happen. So I see it in the exact same vein as the way these white nationalist groups operate as well. If you're like a young, usually a young man, a young boy, and you are radicalized online, you go to these like Discord groups or Telegram groups or any number of different groups like that where they try to urge you to carry out an atrocity, a mass shooting or whatever. And it happens. It happens with regular frequency, as a matter of fact. And I think that the ISIS affiliation is very similar. And in both circumstances, whether it's a white nationalist operation or an ISIS operation, there's also a lot of federal agent involvement as well. So, it's the which way Western man equation.
Yeah, I would all conjecture, say that is likely he has no
A
affiliation.
young 42-year-old boy? No, I was talking about a young man, like a mass shooter. Oftentimes, I'm looking at like the profile of like a white supremacist, white nationalist mass shooter. They are usually young men, young white men in general, but sometimes they're like also Hispanic too. If you're like the overarching profile of white nationalist, white supremacist terrorists that do like mass shootings or try to do, an act of terror to create a race war or whatever, that's usually like a young man that got radicalized directly through a white nationalist, far right Telegram channel or some kind of correspondence. And then there are instances where yes, if you're older, also have issues in your life and you find yourself in the throes of radicalization, you can be like you can find yourself communicating with like I guess an ISIS affiliate or something that will try to get you to carry out an attack in a similar fashion.
But I wonder. I don't really believe in coincidences. And both of these explosions happened in the same day, or both of these attacks, whatever you want to call them, happened on the same day. The attack and the explosion, which obviously wasn't meant to be an attack.
That's fair. And I don't believe in coincidences either normally, but I look at a landmark day like January 1st, and I think, what better day? Any day. I'm going to do a thing January 1st.
Yeah.
And I think
Chat, stop viewing Luigi as a hero. I'm reading some comments. Just read some Lenin, my guys. Oh my God, Mr. I read Lenin, and I actually think adventurism will not cause the revolution. Yeah, everybody understands that. Okay, like yeah,
possibly old
I
boy
mean, he's not wrong. You should read Lenin, but
in New Orleans had help. I don't think that he could have done all the spotting and surveying and assessing himself. He would have likely had to at least have a spotter to say, yeah, you're good to go. Maybe, but I think that's plausible. But other than that, I have a hard time making that connection.
You know, this email, I wonder who else he reached out to. This came in from Dabber GMIB or MLB at protonmail.com.
Wait,
So
why
he's
are they
even
going
using
back
an
to the
encrypted
same email?
service, but which I think everybody in intelligence and special operations knows what Proton Mail is.
Yeah. I would imagine if Joe Rogan, Fox News, name some other big names out there, scrub their emails right now, they could probably find a message from this guy.
Yeah.
He came to me because I'm like D-list media. I'm the guy who has kind of a platform on social media, but I'm not big time, but I can kind of get things to the big time every once in a while if it's a big enough story. And that's what he was hoping for. He was just throwing mud at the wall, trying to get somebody to get his message out.
Well, it's going to be big time now.
Yeah.
But is there anything else we need to cover that you can think of? Jeremy?
Did you want to go into the other item we talked about in the ride over here this morning?
Oh, can I say it?
Yes.
Yeah, the man pads. Well,
I'm unfamiliar.
all right. So I'm saying this with, you can decide to use this or cut it out. This is hard to work with because keep in mind, let me give some background on this. I'm an intelligence analyst and I've spent many years validating sources, taking information in, putting it back out, telling my humenters, hey, this source, this is valid. Let's, give him a rating of this, do this, recommendations. So we can identify good sources in the field that give us information and we can say, yes, this is an A source versus an F6. This is just garbage. Somebody got paid for something. I still work in intelligence. I'm an intelligence officer. I work for a nonprofit. We Remnant Ministries out of Texas. In fact, the website is in my bio on X. I work for Dr. Pete Chambers, Green Beret. And we were involved in counter human trafficking along with just providing ministry to all kinds of stuff. Border operations. Most recently, we've been involved in West North Carolina a great deal. And we had
I have to pee.
some confirmed
So bad.
reporting
All right,
through
I'll be
two
back.
solid sources. And this is where I have to be very iffy. And I told him the card, and he can tell you offline. I cannot say this on the air, but we had two solid sources, one south of the border, and then one from an element within our own government that confirmed independently of each other that some Iranian-made man pads, so surface-to-air missiles, had come across the border. We had the location and everything else. Well, Doc, that's what he goes by, Doc Chambers. He put this out on a podcast, and I was very emphatic. Like, this is not stuff that I like to put on social media. I'm an intel guy by trade. This stuff is not for social media consumption. We got this to Secret Service. We did the whole gamut and got everything pushed to them. And that's why Trump was pushing a lot of this stuff out when he was, because we had told the Secret Service and they had the reporting and everything else. But we have not, to my knowledge, have not recovered those man pads. Now, I'm not privy to that, but what I do know we have done is we have apprehended the couriers on a second run of theirs, and we have local law enforcement got together with federal law enforcement and rolled up the safe house in, I will not say that on this show, but they rolled up the safe house where it was, and we have since identified what that issue was on the border.
Now, let me just, where did they come through?
They came through an actual point of entry, in a legal point of entry along the border. I'd have to pull up the original reporting, but we had.
Yes, dude. This is and Sean Ryan, of course, kept this in. This is it. This is my favorite type. It's when you're like, yeah, the current incompetent American government under the Brandon leadership is allowing ISIS, Al Qaeda, Taliban, Russian, or well, I mean, it depends. Some of these guys are not anti-Russian, but like Chinese operatives to come through the southern border, which is why we need to have a more muscular military, and also we need to have a more muscular border control process. Iranians are coming in from the southern border to do Iranian-style terrorism.
Had the actual.
So we now have Iranian missiles. Who knows how many
And
inside the United States?
that is not something you're going to see in a lot of places. Like I said, I didn't even want to talk about it. It was one of those things where I was just amplifying what he was putting out already, because I was like, man, I don't know about putting this out. But it was something we found was pertinent, because at the time Trump was still campaigning. He was flying around, and there was the reports were their intent was to take down Trump's airplane. So at the time, Secret Service switched things up a bit, and allegedly, from what I've told, they started flying him around on charters for a while until they could identify and kind of mitigate that threat. But that was the reporting stream that was coming out at the time. Feds handled it, off my plate.
You know, I mean, I'm with you on the not releasing certain things on social media. I understand that, but on the other hand, it seems to be the only way to demand any type of accountability or get this and force FBI, Homeland, whoever else is involved to dive into this shit and actually take part. And that's what we've been doing here on the show with Scott Mann, retired Lieutenant Colonel Green Beret, Sarah Adams, former agency targeter. We brought on Legend, who's an Army intelligence guy who goes by Legend because he doesn't want to reveal his name because he's still very involved. And we even went all the way to Vienna to interview Commander Massoud, the leader of the National Resistance Front in Afghanistan. And, you know, we've been talking about this stuff for a year. We got it to Congress. Congressman out of Knoxville, Tennessee, Tim Burchett, sent the bill up. It's literally about we need to stop funding the Taliban, $40 to $87 million a week. The Taliban has set up multiple NGOs within Afghanistan, and basically what we're doing is sending loads of cash to NGOs that the Taliban had set up. We're funding our own demise, and nobody's fucking paying attention.
That's right. The Taliban are coming into the United States of America to destroy America. That's why we need to reinvade Afghanistan, actually. Yeah. We're funding the Taliban. We're funding our own demise. Also, when we did quite literally fund our own demise in the form of funding the Taliban, okay, that was good. That was really good when we did that. Why? Because Cold War. Because USSR. These were brave anti-Soviet warriors paving the path to peace. Okay?
Nobody's paying attention. We tried to get it in the media. We got a little bit of hits. Most of them were from outside the U.S. We had a reporter out of India kind of cover it, but we've been warning about what's happening for damn near a year now. Sarah first came on.
Any sane society would see these guys as more of a threat than the Taliban.
October of 2023 was our first interview, and nobody took it seriously. Now we have the New Orleans attack. We have Iranian missiles. We have these invisible bombs. Do you know about the invisible bombs? So now these terrorist organizations have developed invisible bombs that will get through metal detectors, any kind of screening device that's out there, and they brag about this. And now we just did a Twitter Spaces with Sarah Adams, and they are now bragging that what we know about the invisible bomb, it's now even more advanced than it was before. So that means they can get this into stadiums, they can get this into airports, they can get this pretty much anywhere they want, because you cannot detect it.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Great.
So
that's crazy because they have all this, but they can't use it on Israel. like they have all this. Israel's within striking distance, but they simply can't use it on Israel. But they're going to use it on America, which is so far away. Anyway,
for the people out there, look, there's no stopping.
Same for ISIS. Okay, come on, chatter. ISIS doesn't attack Israel. Come on. Oh, come on. Why would it would be like striking your own chest with your right hand, okay? That would be weird.
And what's here? You cannot stop this.
Nope, you can't roll it back.
Not with what we have already in here. We have sleeper cells. Yep. We're already getting reports that I just lost my train of thought. Oh, we're already getting some reports that there may be a bit more involved in the Louisiana, New Orleans attack that they're not releasing. We also, I'll tell you this, there's a group of people flying around and basically briefing up different departments, governors about what's coming, how to deal with it in their communities. There are deputies in New Orleans who put in requests for training on how to take care of a threat like this, and those fucking requests were denied. They were denied. And so what I basically want to say is it's going to be a bloody 2025. I think that's very obvious. And so for those of you that are looking for something to do and if finally come to the realization that our government is failing us, here's what you need to do. You need to get with your local communities. You need to, especially schools. Schools are very vulnerable, no matter how many active shooters we have in the schools. The infrastructure that's been put in, which is minimal to none.
Isn't it crazy that almost all of the solutions to the problems that this man is talking about is directly in line with what the Republicans are advocating for? Just something interesting that I've seen from the supposed so-called independent media, the anti-mainstream narrative guys. Yeah, that's right. We got to make our schools hard targets, not soft targets. All right. It's like, okay, then I guess you're not anti-mainstream media, nor are you anti-Republican, anti-government at all.
A lot of schools still have none. You better start holding your schools accountable, and you better start raising hell and having them upgrade security no matter what the cost, because no matter what the cost is, it's not going to amount to the loss of life that we will potentially see throughout the United States. And start calling your congressmen, get these guys to do something.
Yeah.
Start calling your senators, get these guys to do something. They have been warned for over a year that this is coming, and nobody wants to take it seriously. Nobody wants to take it seriously.
Yeah.
Contact
Our underfunded schooling system is in dire need of funding for not for books or smaller classrooms or more teachers, but instead for hardening its security, hardening the school infrastructure to make sure that we can take care of the threats from within. God forbid you ban guns, though. Do not even suggest some pussy shit like that, okay?
to the House Foreign Affairs Committee. They did like a Zoom call.
Yeah, that's
Just for a little media hit. Our government is failing us. And so it's in our hands now. It's your kids, it's your wife, it's your husband, it's your parents that are going to pay the price for what we have installed in this country. And it's now up to us because they aren't going to do anything. So on that note, like I said,
I'm Sean Ryan. This is the Sean Ryan Show, #1 podcast. All right. So before we get back to the NOLA guy, there is a couple things that I want to talk about here. Specifically about the background of the Las Vegas Cybertruck guy. The Las Vegas Cybertruck blast suspect Matthew Life is Burger took part in a military TV reality competition on the History Channel alongside Tim Kennedy.
Reality show that pits teams of elite soldiers from around the world against each other.
Matt and Tim from the U.S. Army Special Forces, better known as the Green Berets.
Matthew Livelsberger and his partner Tim Kelly, both Green Berets.
We have to watch this episode. Can we find this episode? Can we please find this episode?
Appeared on the Ultimate Soldier Challenge 12 years ago on the History Channel. They not only won, it wasn't even close.
You know, for television, they always try to make it a little bit more competitive, but we swept the whole entire show.
When he appeared on the show, Livelsberger used a shortened version of his name, Matt Bird. So it took Tim Kelly.
That's right. That's a real burger man right there. Real burger man right there, brother. He shortened his name to Berg. I found a playlist with the full episodes of the TV show The Bomber was on. Seems to have a couple episodes missing and 3 are copy strike, but most are there. Yeah, it's the Green Berets versus Norwegians, I guess, right? Is that the one? The problem is it's got like Russian subtitles or something, or no, is this Hebrew subtitles? I would rather, if there is one that we could watch that is like a little bit higher quality. Is this Russian subtitles or is this Hebrew? I can't tell. No, this is Hebrew, I think, but then this looks like, oh, it's Russian subtitles. That's weird. This isn't Russian. This is Hebrew, right? This is Hebrew. This is Russian, or not even Russian. It might not even Cyrillic alphabet, but I don't know if it's Russian. Why is everybody so ready to jump down my throat? Like I can make a mistake, but I in this circumstance, I didn't even make one. This is a great show. Contestants are elite soldiers. Do not attempt this at home. Wait a minute. I was going to attempt to blow up Tenorite at home. That's crazy. Oh, you found it. Hold on. Navy SEALs, Green Berets. Okay, this is it says 404 file not found. See, maybe another website. Media unavailable at the moment. Changing the server. No service for this movie episode. Yeah, none of those additional links work on that webpage for that episode that you wait, maybe we found one. Hold up. This was shot in 2013, by the way. I think the YouTube. No, this is the same one, I think. Isn't it? Oh no, this isn't the same one. Oh yeah, this is a little bit higher quality. We can watch this.
Money's no good on this battlefield. With a
Am I crazy, or has like YouTube GunTuber content bricked my brain? I feel like I have watched random people, not operators, behave way faster than both of these teams, like react way faster than both of these teams. I mean, it could be editing, but it's like shocking. I feel like the average GunTuber could go blap, 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 blap in like under 30 seconds. It might be you know, they're trying not to shoot the hostages. No, I'm serious. I'm not saying I could do it. I could not, obviously, but I do feel like the average divorced dad gun tuber is like faster on the trigger than these guys.
Cool time of 35 seconds.
Range is cold.
But it also could be that, like, you know, people have gotten much better over the past decade plus. Willing not to shoot the hostages.
Through precaution.
We had a plan all along.
First of all, let's be real. Special forces around the world would all struggle with that same thing. You think, oh yeah, because the American special forces are so good at not shooting the civilians in whenever they're doing a operation. Are you kidding me? It's just like their weapon of choice might be different for Spetsnaz versus the American special forces. Get out of here.
I was going to work it from left to right.
The immunity round.
I like that they're not even considering the Norwegians in play here. They've just, like, you know, they're just talking about Norway as though they're not even a part of the competition any longer, which understandable.
Here heads to the finals.
This challenge comes straight out of urban combat zones like Baghdad.
Oh, they cut them out? Are they out from the first because they lost? Is it just
to go off?
That's crazy. Oh my God, they built this up just to cook the Norwegians, dude. They built this up exclusively to cook the Norwegians. Oh my God. Oh, that's so bad. This is the most damaging footage of social democracy you've ever seen. Okay. Why are you watching Swedish propaganda? It's American propaganda. Great take, man. I never thought about it like that. Yeah. You never want to be in a knife fight, but if you are in a knife fight, you better bring 110%, or else you're losing the knife fight. And that's not good. That's no good. That means you're going to get stabbed a lot. Okay. So what I'm looking to do here is tactically ascertain the hit markers on my perp, and to ensure that I stab faster than he can stab me back.
Flash.
Oh my God, he's getting. Okay, we still have socialized medicine and a robust welfare state. I will be going home back to my country, at least knowing full well that we are not Sweden.
I feel disappointed. It was an honor to go up.
You're disappointed. I'm disappointed, man. I thought the Norwegians had more prowess. I thought they could have demonstrated some better knife fighting.
Really good shooter. You know what you hit, you know what you miss, and you know the number of shots that you're shooting.
1 minute, 15 seconds left.
2 targets, 1 behind the bus, 1 in the bus.
Aim higher.
They just matched the contractor's total score.
2 targets.
But they don't know what the score is they need to beat.
2 targets.
They only have 40 seconds left on the clock. If they don't finish by then, they're disqualified.
3 targets left.
30 seconds left.
One more.
Then, trouble.
Bad driving on my part, trying to get him close to a target.
They're just seconds from being disqualified.
Classic. Also, they cut at least 10 minutes off of their operation time when they know that there's 5 people. If they kill all 5, then they can just directly sprint back to the finish line without worrying about tactical cover. This makes no sense. All they need to do is literally kill 5 people. That's it. No, the Americans know. The Spetsnaz and the Marine Corps image chat. Everything went downhill for him after this. Okay, let me explain something to you. This happened to the Russian guy and they clowned on him. When this happened to the Russian guy, they clowned on him. When it's the American guy, they're like, oh, halt the production. Hold up. All hands on deck. It's not the same. Yeah, because he's Russian. I mean, look, anything that has official Department of Defense sanctioned weapons or military gear or soldiers or anything like that is 100% Pentagon propaganda. This is known. Having said that, however, what we are watching is uniquely blunt in terms of the propaganda that we're like. This is basically the same as like Go Army, like a Go Army ad. You know what I mean? The Mercs had to maintain cover for 35 minutes. These guys went in and basically cut out the last 10 to 15 minutes from the equation because they didn't have to maintain cover, because they knew that there was, the number of enemy combatants was given to them, which means that while the Mercs also maintained cover. They went through double the number of minutes under duress, and these guys almost died. Are complaining. That's so funny, and they should. That's normal. Secondly, they don't have the same restrictions that you guys did for television, like not killing civilians and then declaring them enemy combatants afterwards. Cybertruck durability test 2 just dropped. Wait, is that a joke about what Matthew Berger did? Yeah, he did. He dropped it. He dropped it for all to see, you know. Little did Matt know he would he would have some problems with heat exhaustion later down the line. Now, let me explain something to you guys. Okay? We could do a where are they now, but I have no idea where the Spetsnaz guy is. I have my suspicions, but I would place the likelihood of him surviving the latest actions. I mean, first of all, he'd be too old, I think, to even continue operating. But if he was, there's only 2 places where he would be: Africa or Ukraine. Dead in either situation, most likely. Operators never retire. Brother, he was already old. Africa in question marks is so funny. Yes, dude. I'm saying he's Wagner. He's a ex-Spetsnaz mercenary. Anyway, so like I was saying, we watched this because this is the guy. Matt Berg is the guy who Matt Berg is the guy who blew himself up. Africa is a massive continent. In what country in Africa? I don't know where all the contracted Wagner forces are. Wait, you found his LinkedIn? No way. Hold on, I need to see this. I don't have LinkedIn. I can't see the account.
Our Cybertrucks.
Whistling Diesel did a Cybertruck durability test too. Okay, too soon, brother. Too soon. Anyway, Matt Berg isn't the only one who we were going to talk about today. There is some more. I wanted to also cover Mike Prisner's take. Friend of the show, Mike had an opinion on veterans, active duty, and active duty military members, and also veterans. And how the likelihood of them becoming radicalized and doing something very violent is fairly high. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
Service is now the #1 predictor of becoming what is called a mass casualty offender, surpassing even mental health issues as a profiler. You know, there are many different consequences of having a massive military empire, the biggest humanity has ever seen, both in its sheer size, its expanse around the world, one that is constantly engaged in endless and morally indefensible wars around the world. And one of those consequences is the violence abroad coming back against people at home. Leibesberger, of course, his career was one of killing. And then, you know, the New Orleans attacker says he was inspired by ISIS. The mass killing ideology of ISIS. ISIS would not exist were it not for the US military's complete destruction of Iraq and mass killing of innocent people. You know, America in general, of course, has a mass violence problem. Mass shootings happen quite regularly, more than once a day on average. And that the reasons for that are linked to US militarism, both in that kind of cultural domination of a country that glorifies violence and exports violence, but more so a government that is presiding over a country with deep and extreme social problems, which it refuses to address while having a blank and endless check for militarism abroad and an ever-increasing budget for the military-industrial complex. And so this gives rise to an extreme amount of social problems in our society that are rooted in things like alienation and inequality and desperation and despair and hopelessness. And then so the US military comes in and for the purposes of recruitment must target people who are most impacted by those social problems. They bring them into an institution where they train them to kill. They train them that killing is actually quite honorable and quite cool. It sends many of those people to kill abroad. You know, it has a notoriously, very notorious for ruining people's mental health and a mental health system that makes people's mental health problems even worse, and then spits them back out into a society where people find their lives harder than when they join. That's kind of why I think that has become a #1 predictor of becoming a mass casualty offender, is all of those consequences. And military.
Found the Russian guy. He actually is a cop with Veterans Affairs and lives in Miami. Leo Pavlushkin. That's amazing. We imported the hog. We imported the hog and made it our own. I love that. Yes, Mike is the vet from the famous Obama presidency anti-war protests. Or was it Bush? I mean, he has also protested against Bush. He recently yelled at Bush a couple of years ago, where he called him a war criminal. But yeah, this was incredible. I wanted to show you what Mike had to say, friend of the show. But also, I have some more interesting takes. We will be getting to the real Adrian Dittman in a little bit. But now that we covered the Sean Ryan stuff, I wanted to go back and talk about the FBI finding bomb-making supplies at the New Orleans truck attacker's home.
The FBI has uncovered more chilling evidence surrounding the New Orleans New Year's Day terror attacker. Investigators say they found bomb-making materials inside his Houston home and at an apartment in New Orleans. The ISIS-inspired U.S. Army veteran killed 14 people and injured more than 30 others. In the French Quarter yesterday, it was an emotional scene for loved ones. Police escorted the family of 21-year-old Yubi Go.
Hussein hates capitalism, yet has a $2 million mansion and a Porsche. Explain, don't you see? You are a cancer to the commentary community. Why do you not take criticism? Watch the Tom Dark video. Either show he is wrong or expose yourself for the liar and narcissist you are. Brother, you just said the commentary community. I don't even know who you're pointing to here. But if you're defending the commentary community and it's like sanctity, I don't know what to tell you. I hope 2025 is better for you, though. It's like, my friend, the YouTube commentary community is filled to the brim with just like the lowest effort Reddit thread comments compiled into a YouTube video, masquerading as like serious commentary. The notion that I would be in any way, shape, or form associated with that community is silly. I'm a political commentator.
To a growing memorial on Bourbon Street. They walk hand in hand to stand at the spot where Gautreaux died. Omar Villafranca is in New Orleans. Omar, good morning.
Good morning. Memorials like this one behind me on Canal Street are lined with crosses and flowers to honor the victims. And the healing process is starting, but the investigation is well underway.
CBS News has confirmed that on Friday, investigators searched the Houston home of Samshuddin Jabbar and the New Orleans Airbnb he was renting before the deadly New Year's terror attack. Sources say bomb-making materials were found at both locations. The U.S. Army veteran sped down Bourbon Street, ramming his truck into a crowd, killing at least 14 revelers, an attack authorities believe was inspired by ISIS. Those stunned by the horror include Jabbar's half-brother, who did not want to show his face.
Maybe he was going through something, that he just didn't tell anyone about.
Federal agencies have now put out a bulletin warning of possible copycat or retaliatory attacks. Now, New Orleans officials launched an investigation on what went wrong with security. A central focus now are on those bollards on Bourbon Street, designed specifically to thwart a vehicle from plowing through. On the morning of the attack, the bollards were down for repairs. New Orleans Police Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick.
A terrorist is hell-bent on destruction. And if it hadn't been on Bourbon, he was going to go...
This lady is so crazy. One of my favorite new characters that we have found out about. A lady who herself personally committed a similar act to what the New Orleans terrorists did. Only a couple months prior, been passed around from agency to agency, police department to police department, due to her obvious incompetence, gets paid $340,000 a year by the state. She's been fired a bunch of times. It's amazing. It is amazing. Bro, just means she has experience? Yes, she ran people over. 2 people. One had to be hospitalized. In the month of August in 2024, she ran 2 people over. One of them had to be hospitalized, chatter. Fantastic. Subject matter expert.
Damn, this guy's good.